Jackson.
Hello, I am Julia Alberti, and today I'm going to interview Mr. Koss, and he is going to give us some insight on his life in the 80s. So you were a teen in the 80s, going to like high school around that time, correct?
Yeah, I graduated high school in 1983.
Okay. Would you mind telling us some of your memorable moments, such as like Miracle on Ice or Michael Jackson or Madonna, something interesting?
Sure. I remember the day that the U.S. Olympic hockey team won the gold medal at the Olympics. I remember that because my father, we were all watching it. I mean, everything stopped for the Olympics because that was a big deal. You have to understand that, patriotism really wasn't that high at that time. We had the hostage crisis. It was still the post-Vietnam War era. So patriotism was kind of on the downside, and along came these small group of, no-name guys. They had put together this hockey team, went up against the Russians, beat them, and went on to win the gold medal. And I remember the day, because my father was a great guy, would never take us out to dinner, took the whole family out to dinner that day. And we had steak, which was big in the 80s. Nobody could afford it. That was one thing. Michael Jackson, I remember the day that MTV began. It was August of 1981. And then shortly after that, not too far after that, came the Thriller, the record album Thriller, which was awesome. I mean, I grew up with the Jackson 5 in the 70s. I loved Michael Jackson as a solo artist, and he was awesome. And everybody bought Thriller. Everybody bought Thriller. I still have it. If your parents have it, if they deny it, they're lying. And Madonna. I remember when Madonna came out, she was very charismatic. She was a radical. There was a different way that she dressed, and everybody wanted to dress like Madonna. And she played good dance music. I think, honestly, after disco sort of died and people stopped dancing, along came Michael Jackson and then Madonna, and people started dancing again. It gave them music that they could dance to. So those are my recollections of some of those people.
Yeah, and throughout the 80s, there was various different fashion and fads, and colors were popular, and just would you like to tell us about the
Well,
fashion?
I'll talk about, I'm not much of a big fashion person. I take a lot of my cues from what my wife tells me to wear. But I remember when Miami Vice became sort of a cult TV show. It was a show about two cops in Miami who were undercover agents, undercover police officers. And Don Johnson, who was the star, would wear this white sort of linen jacket, and that was sort of his thing, this sort of half-shaved white, linen jacket. So everybody went out and bought their Miami Vice jacket, and I had mine too. And I used to wear my, when I'd go out on special occasions, members-only jackets were big too.
Yeah.
That was a kind of a short little,
Okay. Did you use computers and watch TV, or did you go outside and hang out with your friends more?
Oh, I was always outside. Being inside was punishment. You were only inside on rainy days, and that was awful. We didn't have cable TV till later, so there was like 3 channels to choose from, so you didn't want to be inside. Computers were a novelty. Some people had them, like the early Macs, I'm thinking, or Apples, but nobody knew what to do with them. You sort of had it and sat there. And
So everybody just bought it just to have it.
right. Technology was a calculator. You were cool if you had one of those. If you had a typewriter that worked, you were really cool. So that was sort of the technology of the time period.
And going from the whole Michael Jackson and Madonna thing, what was your favorite band or musician?
Journey. 1983, Hartford Civic Center. The album's called Escape. It was awesome. That's when Steve Perry. Yeah, oh yeah, are you kidding me? I was there. I loved Pat Benatar. She was awesome. Journey was probably the big group for me at that time period. And Don't Stop Believin'. All the kids sing it today. Hey, we were singing it back then.
And are they still your favorite now?
Yeah. The lead singer isn't with them anymore, but I still love listening to the music.
And at the time, was hockey the most famous sport, or what was your favorite sport?
My favorite sport was probably football. I'm a huge Dallas Cowboys fan, going way back to where I met them in the 70s. And I was a big fan of the Cowboys at that time period. I became a Yankee fan sort of later on. I loved the Olympic hockey, but I didn't follow too much professional hockey at that time.
And overall, was the 80s a good time for you? Did you like it, and would you go back?
Oh, absolutely. I met my wife in 1985, and we've been together ever since. So it was a great time for me. The 80s was very optimistic. A lot of people made a lot of money. You know, the 70s was sort of post-Vietnam, kind of sad, and the 80s was energetic and a lot of music, a lot of new music, and it was very optimistic. So I loved it. You know, I loved it a lot.
All right. Well, thank you for being with us. And
My
telling us
pleasure.
about
Thank
the
you.
80s.
Appreciate it. Thank you.